Hey, everybody. It's Yolanda. It's Yolanda here. As promised, I told y'all I had a to be continued. So first of all, I just want to say thank you all so much. Thank you for all of your kindness. I know some people look at certain posts and they just like, what's going on? What's going on? And did I graduate and all this stuff that's going on? So I thought I would get on here, first of all, say thank you, and then tell you a little bit about what's happened really actually over the last, let me just say 72 hours, right? The last 72 hours for me. So first and foremost, many of y'all know me already. My husband and I have a marriage ministry where we serve couples and host retreats and conferences, etc. Right? Ministry is the foundation of my life. And so, many of you know I do real estate. So people are like, wow, you wear so many hats. Yes, but to me, it all comes together. So I shared last night, had the honor and privilege to speak at the Emmanuel Bible College commencement graduation for the class of 2024. I was the commencement speaker. And let me tell you, I almost ran from that assignment so many times. I had to pray about it, think about it, talk to my husband about it. It was a whole lot that I had to process to figure out if I could, how you just have to just think like, God, is this the time for me to do that? Because for you all that don't know, Emmanuel Bible College is a small Bible college in East Nashville. And many of the pastors actually, especially in the Black church, come through Emmanuel. They either go through Emmanuel or they go through American Bible College, right? A lot of them locally do. And then others go to Vanderbilt. I mean, there's so many options, but I'm just letting you know many of them do. And so, anyway, I don't know. That's just a lot of pressure for me. Now, I have been in ministry for 10 years. This is actually my 10th year serving in ministry. And for those you didn't know, that's what I do. So that means part of my life of ministry is preaching, teaching. I teach Bible study. I actually left a corporate job to go into ministry full time. And I've been doing it for 10 years. Okay. So back about 12 years ago, I was just in this dark place. I was not in a good place. Matter of fact, I just didn't like who I was becoming. You ever gotten to that place where you're just like, how did I get here? Like the way you're responding to people, the way you see things, your perspective on life and what's happening in your life wasn't positive, right? And it wasn't moving forward. And you didn't feel like you were progressing. If you ever been to that place, then you know what I'm talking about, right? So I was in that place and I just felt like my back was against the wall. My marriage was falling apart. I didn't feel like I was being a good parent. I didn't feel like, and you may think that, well, I was at the height of my career in that time. When I say height of my career, basically all that means is that the next position that I could achieve, I would have to leave the state. And I wasn't willing to do that. So I was like, this is all it had to offer in Nashville for the business I was in. I was in the hospitality business. Many of y'all know I used to run the spa at Gaylord Opryland, which I loved. So I had one career, majority of my adult life at that time. And it was 18 years in the spa and hospitality world. I just knew eventually I was just going to have my own spa one day. But at that time, I wasn't ready. And I didn't feel, since God wanted me to step out on faith to do that. So I had all of that on top of everything else that was life be life. And, that's what was happening. So I went away on a little sabbatical, and it was just at that place where I came to myself, right? When you come to yourself, you come to the place where you're at the end of your road. Let me tell you, that's when God will do a great work in you. But you get to that place of desperation, that place that you just so thirsty for God that you didn't know what else to do, right? I was at that place. And so what the Spirit led me to do was to write down all of the issues that I was dealing with, all of the concerns, and eventually got to, my personal issues, my heart issues. I heard people that, other situations that were going on that were uneasy for me, things I didn't understand. And I wrote all that stuff out, took that sheet of paper and I burned it. And if you heard my testimony, this is part of my testimony. I'm telling you all this for a reason, so stay with me. And so from that, that did two things. I made a decision. I told the students last night, the students at Emmanuel, I told them, I said, there's a difference between making a choice and making a decision. When you make a decision comes from a Latin word that I can barely pronounce. I think it's decidere. And basically, dead means off, and cedere means cut. If you speak Latin, you know I probably butchered that. But anyway, the point is, it means to cut off. Meaning you cut off. When you make a decision, you're cutting off all other alternatives. Like you making a decision. And you standing on decision versus making a choice. There's a difference in the two. So the thing that I made a decision at that point to say yes to God and to believe. And when I say yes to God, meaning that I was willing, hear me clearly, to do anything, whatever it took to just be in alignment with God's will for my life. Forget my plans, really stop dreaming about whatever it was I was trying to do, and just follow God, whatever it was. And sometime later, the other thing that I made a decision on was to believe God's word. Not just believe about God or know about God, believing in God, because I'm a believer. You know, I'm a pre-K, I'm a preacher's kid. Y'all know that, right? And so I go to church every Sunday, but just because you go to church every Sunday don't mean that you really embody the understanding of what believing in God is and believe that you are profoundly significant to God. So I believe that I am profoundly significant to God. And when I embrace that, right, meaning that I just believe what God's word says and that it will be so. And so I walk by faith and not by sight. So I continue to stand on that, which led me to go to school to get my master's in Christian studies. Okay, I went to get my master's for myself, not to get a job, not to be a professor, not to... I went for myself, because when God called me into the ministry at that point, I said, God, I ain't ready for this. Like, God, like, that's my daddy's thing. I'm a businesswoman, right? Like, I'll do what you tell me to do, but can I go back to school? So I preached my first sermon that year and got licensed as a minister, start serving in the church. But I was going to school at the same time, getting my master's in Christian studies, so I can really learn how to apply the biblical principles to my life, because my whole goal was to really learn to embody and experience who God truly is. Like, just taste, when they say taste and see that the Lord is good, I wanted to just have that experience. And I knew what he just did for me on that mountain when I went away. And I felt God's presence and his peace, because nothing physically changed in my situation. So you have to understand that just because the physicality of things don't look different, right? What happens is your perspective starts to shift. And when your perspective starts to shift, then things start to look different. The way you approach it, the way you respond to it, the way you react, the way you pray about your situation, the way your heart feels in it. Y'all, it's some good stuff, right? So that's what God did. And so I protected my peace at all costs while I was in school. And y'all know the story, just to speed the story up. Y'all know 18 months later, that's when Billy had his transformation. And so from that and his healing, about 2 years later, we started doing marriage ministry. And by this time, I left my big corporate job, went into ministry full time. Many of y'all know from Olive Branch. So I served and loved the people at Olive Branch under Pastor Vinny, and loved it. And when God started directing us to do marriage ministry, you know, we wrote a book. I got a lot of support from that. And I was still serving at the church in marriage ministry. And serving at the church and then still doing marriage ministry. So I was there like 3 years, and then God really fine-tuned this marriage thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go out by faith and do this marriage ministry full time, because God had given us a whole vision of where our marriage ministry was going to eventually go. And we're still believing that even to this day. But the thing that wasn't adding up, is what I'm trying to say, was how are we going to get there from a financial perspective, right? Because ministry costs money. Don't let nobody fool you, right? Ministry costs money. So we was like, okay, how are we going to get there from a financial perspective? And we were already helping couples, coaching them. And eventually they actually, the door of real estate. I was praying one day in my prayer closet, and real estate came up. And I was like, Lord, here we go again. Like, Lord, I don't want to do that. Like, here I am. I'm that type of, servant, like, Lord, please, because you're trying to logically make it make sense. And that didn't make sense to me. But I said to myself, if I go down here and talk to Billy about it, and if he has a peace about it, then I'm just going to do it regardless. Now, let me tell you, we did not have the money for me to even go to real estate school. What I was doing marriage ministry full time because I had left Olive Branch, and I had got a position as an adjunct professor at Belmont in 2018. So I was teaching in the College of Theology to students. I mean, I had 2 classes, some semester, 3 classes, some other semesters. I mean, that's all I had as an adjunct professor teaching at Belmont and doing marriage ministry. But it wasn't making sense. It wasn't adding up to where we can keep the lifestyle and things that we were used to from my big corporate job going. And so I just had to do what God said. And I went, and so we actually sold a freezer in our garage here. And that $300 paid for me to go to real estate school. I didn't know how the rest of the money was going to come because it costs way more than that to become a realtor, by the way. Why am I telling y'all all this? Stay with me, because I'm telling you what happened to me over the last 72 hours. That's where we are. So if you just join me, I'm telling y'all my to be continued that was on my post. This is what it means. Okay. So anyway, went to real estate school, dived into it, and just started doing real estate. At the time, I'm learning how to do real estate, trying to be a great agent, learning the ropes, learning from experience, learning from the best in the industry, right, here in our area, and as well as still teaching at Belmont. So I'm teaching at Belmont, helping couples and doing real estate and just juggling all these different things that God has called me. But he gave us a mission, and it's live in peace, right? Live in peace is our overall mission. And we believe we're on the mission to help people build, especially couples, build a legacy of love through marriage and through real estate. So some of the couples that we were coaching, counseling, or even did premarital for, we helped them get a house. So it all just rolled right together, right? And so that's what I have been doing, and what I've been doing along with still teaching at Belmont. And so anyway, just to kind of fast forward, now I've been in real estate for 5 years. I feel like I'm very experienced, very knowledgeable. I've helped a lot of couples. I just closed my 8th home today, this year, and God has just been so good, right? Been so good. And still doing marriage ministry as well. In about 20, I guess it's been 2 years or 3 years, maybe 3 years, Emmanuel Bible College called me because my dad is a professor at Emmanuel Bible College. My husband is a professor at Emmanuel Bible College. And then they called me. And here I am again. Y'all want me to come? I mean, I'm already teaching at Belmont, but I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't sure. They had one woman teaching there, and she retired. And, as far as, all the time. And she had retired. So I was like, they already got Billy, they got Daddy, they good, right? So after I prayed about that, and I said, okay, I'll do it. So then I started being a professor, and I would say an adjunct, because we go to school. Emmanuel Bible College is open like just Monday nights, right? Monday nights. And so I committed to doing that for the last couple of years, last 2.5 years, because it started with like a summer. This is how they got me. It started with like me teaching summer school with my husband on marriage. And I was like, okay, I can just do that. Summer school on marriage, right? But then when they called me in to do it often, now I teach Old Testament, New Testament. And then this semester I taught on relationships. So anyway, back to last 72 hours. On Saturday, I had an opportunity to speak to some amazing women for Warrior Women. So shout out to Octavia Duke and her sister in Christ that put that program on. It was like 100 women in Portland, y'all, in Portland, Tennessee. I mean, beautiful women who just had a heart for God, and I loved it. So it was such a blessing, like, to be in that place and to share with these women. Oh my God, it was one of those you had to be there. Shout out to my sister, Octavia Duke. And you know why it's so amazing? Because I remember when I met Octavia, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. But when I met Octavia, y'all, she was just getting her faith walk to the place where she wanted to step out and do events for women, right? And so I don't think it had really come to fruition like she wanted to. And then to see what she put, it was beautifully decorated, beautiful, and great food. And oh man, I'm just so proud of her. And for the last 2 years, she's been in my marriage retreat. And so we have really made a great connection. So shout out to her. If y'all don't know her, follow her and her story. So anyway, that was on Saturday. And then so I knew Monday was coming and I had to do this commencement speech. And y'all, if the preachers are on here, especially women preachers, if you are on here, you know that feeling when you have to preach to preachers. If you don't preach on a regular basis or speak to men on a regular basis, then you may not know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's the type of feeling, because them Baptist preachers and Methodist, whatever, no matter whoever has been involved in Emmanuel, whether you're alumni, current, or whatever, the place is packed. And then it's all the families of the graduates. And the graduating class was a great class. I don't know how many of them it was. I didn't count all of them. But man, church was packed. And it was located at my dad's church. So I delivered a message from God that he gave me. Y'all. I started with 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. And I told them I'm going to charge them with this. And I told them I charged them with, I have fought the good fight of faith, right? I have finished the race, right? And I have kept the faith. So I fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. That was the charge of the scripture. And then I gave them a tidbit of the life lesson I just told you. When I made that decision to actually say yes to God and to believe, how it changed the trajectory of my life. Y'all, I thought I was going to have a spa business by now. But here I am in ministry, serving families in real estate. I never thought that would be my place. There's Octavia. Hey, girl, I just got through talking about you. You're going to have to watch the replay. I see you on here now. So, anyway, so I delivered that message and I ended with, I just have to tell you the story I told them about runners on your mark, how this is the time that their race is going to build momentum. When you achieve something in life, right? When you get to that place when you're at achievement, and you say, man, I did it. God did that for me. God moved. When that happens in your life, it's not your time to sit back and relax and be like, ooh, God did it. I'm going to fold my hands and I'm going to chill, right? No, that's time that you get to work. That's time when your race picks up its momentum. I learned this from Pastor Benny. He said, when you have moments build momentum. Right? So every moment you have will build that momentum. I learned that from him. And that is so true. That graduating class had a moment. And now they're going to build momentum. So what they can't do is sit back, hang up that degree and do nothing. Right? Or do the same. God is ready for them to move forward by faith. So I just shared that with them. And y'all, it was a powerful word of God. Powerful word. And so I preached that word in the time that I had, right? And then from that place, I sat down, and then the administrative staff of Emmanuel Bible College, they honored me with an honorary doctorate, okay? An honorary doctorate. That's what it was. I was the commencement speaker for 2024, and they honored me with an honorary doctorate. So I just want y'all to know, I didn't go back to get my PhD. Not yet, anyway. I have been praying about that and toiling with it for sure. But honestly, let me be honest with you. Can I be honest with y'all? That is just, it wasn't in the tracks. I just didn't feel like God was calling me to go back to school to get a PhD or do, from the formal way, like I got my master's. I was good with my master's and teaching. Just right there, just good right there. But for them to take a moment to honor and bless me with an honorary doctorate, I was very humble and appreciative. It doesn't matter. Anything else doesn't matter. It's just that when people are kind to you and they recognize you, like I said, I've been in ministry 10 years. I have been preaching and teaching, and y'all may not know, I teach Bible study. I preach, matter of fact, this Sunday at Galilee, I'm preaching this Sunday. So many of y'all will be like, when you preach again? This Sunday, 11 o'clock a.m. service. So if you want to come hear a message from God, then I'll be honored to have you to come and to worship with us at the Galilee Church. And so I just want you to know that I'm just here to serve, right? I love doing real estate. I love helping people. So that's what I'm doing every single day in my office. Y'all see my little videos, me running around, finding out crazy stuff and telling y'all about it, telling y'all the crazy stories I hear about. But like today I had a closing. I closed 2 houses today, and to see, it was a seller and a buyer. She sold her house and she bought a house, right? And so to see her face, and it was everything don't come easy. Her home, it was a hard sale, right? Because there were some challenges there. But she was ready and needed this next chapter in her life. And I am so excited for her that I was able to save her thousands of dollars, like thousands of dollars I was able to save her. And so that's why I do what I do every day. And you know what I gave her? I said, because she's not married yet, right? She's not married yet. So I gave her one of our books, and I said, no matter if you're single or married, you know, people are always blessed with our book, I Thee Wed. And so I gave her that. Said, y'all go on a date. You know, I gave her a bunch of other stuff too, but I'm telling you, the one thing I gave her was our book. And I wanted her to see it. I said, it's a lot of stuff in here, but I want to show you this. I pulled the book up and I told her I signed it. I said, just read it, you know, and I pray that it blesses you. So I continue to allow what God is doing through me from a ministry perspective, from a marriage, couples, relationship perspective, to feed into our into real estate, because I believe they just really go together. And so that's what I love to do, serving people. Look at Fran said, it's always such a blessing to hear you speak. Thank you so much, Fran. Appreciate you. Hey, Jack, I miss seeing your face. We should connect sometime. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call you later this week, put you on my call list this week. Hey, Diane. So my OBC folks, y'all, I love OBC. I love them folk over there. Anyway, I just thought I'd get on here and share, because last night I was so tired. Oh my God. You know, after you preach and it's like you pour out so much. And then I was so surprised. Like, they totally surprised me. My daddy was crying. My mama was crying. My mom started shouting in the back. I was like, what is going on? I didn't know what was going on. And they just sent me this amazing message. My mom and them did. And my dad actually sitting on behalf of my mom and dad, and it just brought me to tears. Yeah. I mean, y'all know when you are a parent, I'm going to get emotional now. I don't want to get emotional. Hey, my cousin. Hey, Reggie. And when you are a parent and you pour all you can in your children, and the Bible talks about training up a child in the way they should go, so when they get older, they won't depart. And I know that is such a true statement, because I ain't always been on the up and up, you know, and never thought that I would serve in ministry and be a part of something so much bigger than me. Because I just, you know, because just this world is so selfish, and I was so selfish. And I was just like, I don't want to do that. And then you see what your parents go through in ministry. And I was like, folk be treating folk bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody ain't kind, right? Everybody wants something, or think you should do this, or think you should do that. And you trying to balance out all these personalities and serve all these personalities. So that's why I told God, I was like, back in 2012, when he was talking about going to ministry, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that, you know. And so, God, y'all got me crying on here. Y'all know I ain't the biggest crier either, at all, you know. So, but anyway, I'm just grateful that my mom and dad are so amazing, and that they poured so much into me. And wherever this journey continues to take me, I'm going to just walk it out. Because I'm on a mission to experience the fullness of God. And if you want to really experience the fullness of God, you got to see yourself in that light. You got to see yourself how God sees you. You got to know that you are purpose. Stop trying to find it everywhere else, right? Stop looking for things to just get better before you're better. No, you have to get yourself in a place where you can become better. And this was part of my message I said last night. Hey, Pastor Wayne, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope it blessed somebody. But once I learned the concept of becoming better, I even say now, and I told the students last night, when you believe better, you do better. And when you do better, you have better. Y'all know the be, do, have concept, right? It's real. If you don't know it, I preached many sermons on it. You can Google it, look it up, right? I didn't create it, but it's biblical sound. The world has taken it and changed it to so many different things, but y'all know what it is, right? So when you become that, right? And when I say become, what are the characteristics of a godly woman? What are the characteristics of someone who you desire, right? Not just people you see, but how God sees you. So read the scriptures. When he says, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, then you hold your head up high and you walk and you continue to do what God has called you to do, and know in your heart of hearts, like so much so that you embody the belief that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, that nothing's going to stop me. I'm not going to be fearful. I'm not going to be, hey, Nene, I see you on there, baby. And I'm not going to be fearful. I'm not going to be have anxiety. I'm not going to be afraid. Now, I still struggle with various things that I'm working out every single day. Like I told y'all, I didn't want to do that commencement message speaker. I'm like, what? So, but you just have to do it. And when you do big things start to happen to you. Do y'all know what I mean when I say that? Like, when you do big things, Jackie know what I'm talking about, because that girl right there, you know what I'm talking about, because you definitely have always been a faith walker. I've always admired your walk. Oh, I know you know what I'm talking about. And no matter if it looks crazy or different, or people expect you to do something else, my story not going to be your story, even though we have similar things that may happen in our life, right? But when you step into that big thing that you feel like, maybe I can't do this, let me tell you, big doors, big opportunities, those things are going to happen for you. So don't ever discredit yourself for even being at that place, right? Don't let anybody say anything different about it. Like, who cares? If somebody say, well, you got that little job now, you know how we do. Folks be like, you got that little thing now, you got this little thing. Don't let nobody call nothing little in your life. Ain't nothing little about me, right? Ain't nothing little about me, because I serve a big God, right? And if you know me, you know I got a big personality as well. And so God made all of me for a reason. And he made all of you for a reason. And if I can't do anything else but encourage you, I want to encourage you, right? And just like I juggle two different careers, like, I tell people all the time, real estate feeds our marriage ministry, right? It does. It does. Every time I sell a home, a big portion of that goes right back into our marriage ministry. And I'm just grateful that we're able to do that. And you could do the same thing, right? You don't have to just say, well, I got this one thing going on. But what if God has you desiring other things? Like the fact, y'all, listen to this. And I'm about to let y'all go, because this, I'm getting too excited. Listen to this. Let me tell you something. Even the desire you have to want more and to be more comes from God. Did y'all know that? I mean, even the desires you have come from God. Right? And because he wants us, because we are human beings. We are being, meaning becoming more like who God called us to be. So you have to look into that. What is he calling you to be? What are you becoming? Do you like who you're becoming? Right? If you don't like it, change it. And the one thing that changes you, because nobody else can. That's an inside job, right? It's your perspective. And the one thing that changes your perspective is your belief. That is so true, y'all. And let me tell you, that is what's changed my life. That is what helps me juggle preaching, teaching. You know, this semester I took off at Belmont, but I was teaching at Belmont, teaching at Emmanuel, selling real estate, doing the marriage ministry, all those things all at the same time, right? But this year, I set out to help more families. I wanted to be able to impact more than 13 families because that's the most I've ever been able to impact in real estate. So I said, this year, I want to impact at least 30 families. I want to help 30 families' dreams come true. People who think that they are far from owning their own home. People who believe that, you know, that can't happen to me in my lifetime. The interest rates and the prices, and I don't have the savings. Honey, I done got some folks in some houses for as little as $1,500, $2,000. So all I say is be a good steward. Be a good steward what God has given you now and believe bigger, right? Believe bigger. And when you believe bigger, you can do bigger and you can have bigger. And you might be like, well, oh, I'm cool. What I got, I'm content. But still, God has something for you, right? If you still got breath in your body and you getting up every day, you in your right mind, God has something for you because we have to stand up as believers and continue to go out and make disciples. Baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Are you doing it every day through the work that you do on that job or wherever it is you go, right? It's so important that we do that. So important. Hey, I appreciate y'all listening in tonight. Thank you for all the encouragement. Thank you for, Desi said, thank you for sharing and your encouragement. Bless you. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Thank y'all for watching my little videos that I'll be posting up. Hopefully they are funny and helpful and encouraging all at the same time. So bless you all for that. But I just wanted to get on here and just tell you how the last 72 hours have just really, life has been good. I'm grateful, right? I am grateful, 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 right? But man, I just been watching how God worked, here these last 72 hours and my head is like spinning, right? But I'm just grateful for what he's done and what he's about to do. Not only through me, but through you too, right? Through you and your life and your family and everybody that's in your path. Because we all have certain people in our path. Not everybody's in my path, right? I can't serve and speak to everybody. My voice, and y'all already say I sound like Wanda Sykes and everything else. Y'all crazy anyway. I done heard that before. But everybody ain't in my path. But there are people in your path and they're waiting on you to do and to rise up and to write that book, start that show, do that podcast, start that business, whatever it is, be that manager. They're waiting on you to step up to the plate because it's time for your race to build its momentum. I just felt that so deep when I shared that with the graduates last night, and I just want to share that with you. It's time to build that momentum, and you build momentum by your moments. So don't belittle the moments that God has put in your path, right? Tell the world how good God is. All right. All right. Y'all be good. Love you all. And thank you for your support. And yes, I'm signing off as Dr. Yolanda Harris Jackson. See you later. Bye.